We are doing this in one take. I don't care. It's 2020 and I'm ready. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all have been doing well. It feels so good to be back, and I hope that you all had an amazing holiday. Hope you guys had an amazing new year. Today we're going to be jumping right in, and this is the ultimate guide to adulting for 2020. So here are a few things that I did in 2019 leading up to 2020 to help me prepare for 2020. And these are things that you still have time to do, okay? I think you should definitely make time for these things because they've really helped me kind of clear my head and get ready for 2020. A lot of the things and the baggage and the toxic, we needed to just kind of tie the knot on those, right, in 2019 to move on. So first thing I think you should do is clean your space, your mind, your devices, your bed sheets, like deep clean. And when I got back from vacation, I took a rest day, and then the next day I deep cleaned everything. I decluttered my room, completely reorganized it, got some underbed storage for my clothes and shoes. I organized my clothes by season. A lot of the times we really neglect little places like the windowsills and stuff. You need to scrub that, you don't want to go into the new year with dirty energy. Not only cleaning your space physically, but clean your digital devices too. So for me, I went through my computer, I organized all of my files. I went through my phone, deleted a bunch of pictures, organized those into albums. All of my vlog footage and stuff that I want to keep, I dump it into an external hard drive so that way I have access to it and I can just save it for another day. You don't have to do it all in one day. Something that helps me is to do little by little each day, kind of have a focus area, and then, do your part and then move on. The next thing that I did was I took a look at my finances in 2019. I'll probably make an entire dedicated video to finances and also creating my financial budget binder. Not that I'm any financial advisor or anything, okay? I'm just your average, college student trying to get by, trying to, secure the bag as well as she can, okay? So when I looked at my finances, I kind of did a summary of my expenses for the year, how much I made, how much was spent, how much am I going to need to spend in 2020. Doing that, kind of having a paper where I summarize everything, can really help me understand okay, what are my next steps for my financial journey in the next year? Because there's so much that can happen in a year or in even a month, you just never know when you have surprise bills or something comes up. For me, I'm a pen and pencil. For me, I'm a pen and paper type of person, so I always have to handwrite everything down. I know a lot of people use Excel sheets to organize their bills and their finances and stuff. You can do that. It's really up to you, but just having a record of it is so helpful. If you're a student, something I also looked at was my spring tuition, because my incoming J-term class and my spring tuition is two different expenses. So I kind of just have a little summary for myself on a page where I have upcoming expenses just for school, because I have to buy textbooks, I gotta purchase this exam, all this stuff. The last thing I focused on right before the new year is my own health and myself, and so I did a little glow up, okay? I got my nails done, I colored my hair, within this first week, I've just been a total vegetable, and I caught up on sleep, and I kind of strayed away from the junk food and really just tried to detox my body, because I don't know, I feel when you're going into the new year or when you're coming back from vacation, it's kind of hard to bounce back. Taking vitamins and stuff, slowly getting back into a routine of working out, invested in some new skincare, some new makeup, got rid of clothes that just no longer fit me right. I wanted to make a quick disclaimer for y'all before we start planning for 2020. I've been seeing tons of videos talking about goal setting and everything, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but sometimes I feel I'm pressed for time, and being my age and stuff, I'm turning 23, so I'm pretty young still. Sometimes it can be really daunting because you feel everyone else is 10 steps ahead of you, But trust me, you're not alone in that. I just want to remind you that you are on your own path for a reason, and that you shouldn't compare yourself to other people's process or progress. because your process is going to be completely different and your path is going to be completely different from anybody else's. So when you're setting these goals and your intentions for yourself, remember that this is for you and you only. You know what I mean? That's something that I have to constantly remind myself too. I want to like boss up, not just for other people, but really for myself. So I don't want you to feel super pressured or like pressed about time to do these things. But I do want you to think about these things and that it's possible to really achieve your goals if you really put your mind to it. I'm going to start with like the big idea of planning for your year, which has to do with vision board making. You probably have run into a vision board video before. If you don't know what a vision board is, it's basically a visual representation of pictures and words that represent things that you want for yourself in the future. It's like the first couple steps to manifesting something that you really want in your life. I'm going to show you my 2019 vision board, and I don't know, it makes me smile every time I look at it now because I was able to check off a lot of things on my list. So let me show you. This is my vision board from 2019. You can see there's been a couple of things that have been checked off. Knowing that I can and it's possible to check things off makes me even more excited for me to dream even bigger than beyond this. When I created my new vision board for 2020, I kind of wanted to split my life into 4 different quadrants. And you don't have to do this, but if you have like no idea where to start, this could help you out. So the first quadrant is relationships. Whether you're focusing on a relationship to yourself, to the world, with your friends and family, with a loved one, with business partners, whatever it is, that is something that can be in its own little section. The second quadrant for me was finances, whether it's like X amount of dollars in my savings, I want to be making X amount per month, I want to pay off my credit card bill, whatever it is, that could be another quadrant in itself. The third quadrant for me is career/school. So one of my big things for the coming year is to graduate, obviously, with my undergrad and my credential for teaching. And for career is to begin to slowly think about like where I want to take Hello, it's Angela, otherwise known as my YouTube channel and my brand. And then my last category is self. Thinking about myself and how much I've grown since the last year made me realize a lot of things about myself that I didn't know before, and I just want to continue to do that and really get to know myself more and also like understand how I interact with people. I used to have so much self-doubt all the time, and I used to be in this mindset where like I felt like I didn't deserve anything good that came my way. I would have such a hard time accepting love and affection. And when I split my life into like those 4 quadrants, I kind of like mapped out goals and stuff, specific things in my phone or in my journal, and I would just write like everything down. I kind of did like a brain dump of everything that I wanted to accomplish, everything that I wanted to happen, and then from there I was able to kind of think about how I wanted to visually go about my vision boards. So I have like 4 separate pages because I was going to get a big canvas for it. I mean, you could do that, but I just tried to use whatever I had at home because I didn't want to go out and like buy more stuff and waste more stuff. So I took like cardstock paper and I got a bunch of free magazines from my school library. If you're a student, you should totally go and check out your local library to see if they have any unused magazines. I also printed some images from my Fomimo printer, which you all have seen before. It's a little pocket printer. I printed some words and stuff from my phone, and I also decorated with like colors and stuff. I have a tangerine here because a lot of times in my commentary or in my Instagram, I call you all my little tangerines. You guys are like my little tangerines in a basket. Something I also wanted to do more this year was to read more. I want to fly to New York again, fly out of the state. Another big idea is to learn to love in a different way. My love language is definitely like acts of service and gifts. And I just want to get better at like loving in different ways because I know that not everybody accepts acts of service or gifts the same way that I would want them to. At least that's what I've noticed in like my relationships with friends, family, because not everybody is like a gift person. Some people just, really love receiving words of affirmation or just spending quality time. I also have a couple quotes everywhere. So in the middle it says, "Today's your day to shine on." This one I have a couple of quotes on here too. I won't go in and explain every little thing because it's kind of personal for me, but just so that way you can kind of get an idea of what I'm getting at. And then I also have this fierce female here. She's just killing her outfit. I want to dress better. Like, that's like a goal of mine, like, all the time. This one is really funny. In the middle, I found this picture of this really nice bag, and then at the bottom I wrote "Secure the bag 2020." I have like my credit card Discover here that I really want to pay off. I have a couple of student loans and other debt that I want to pay off, and I want to be able to go on more trips. My lease ends in the middle of the year, so I also want to look for another dope apartment. I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love where I'm at right now. By that time, it'll be time to move on to something even better, so I'm looking forward to that. And then my last quadrant is this one. I have like a savings goal. I also have like different brands that I would love to work with. And I also have this quote that says, "Unleash your creativity," and like a little market kind of representing like me really challenging myself to make better videos, make better content. Learning also, because I used to sew a lot and I really want to get better at that and like get into ceramics and stuff. There's just a lot of things I want to learn about, you know? Love keeping my vision board like right by my desk because it helps me think about like my why. Like, why am I working so hard? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? First thing I wanted to share with you all that I purchased from Amazon is this large monthly planner. Last year I used a monthly planner that was already pre-filled in by Ray Dunn, but for this year I wanted to get something a little bigger and something that was more blank so that way I can customize it more. So I got this and it's really dope. I messed up the first couple pages. As usual in any journal, I always mess up the first page. There's no way it's gonna come out perfect, so I just improvised and I put 2020. What I really like about this is that there's a whole like empty section here where you can write notes for your month. If you have like other appointments or bills coming up for that week, you can either plan your week. The next tool I have is, of course, my bullet journal. I used to use like a day-to-day agenda. I used to try the pre-filled in agendas and stuff, but you all know I'm a huge fan of bullet journaling. It looks like neon in the camera, but in person it's like a super cute like kind of pastel green. I got this as a gift from Archer and Olive. They are a wonderful planner company. If you're into bullet journaling, I definitely recommend checking out their stuff. Their paper is super high quality. Charm here, which I also really like. It's a cute little detail. I also messed up the first couple of pages, and I am such a perfectionist in that way that I had to like rip it out and therefore had to tape my journal already, but we're just gonna not pay attention to that. The first page I have is 2020 in review. I highlighted like a couple important dates that I know of so far, and then I'll probably add more later, but this is just nice to kind of look at your year overall for me in case I plan on traveling much more this year, so I want to make sure that I have it kind of laid out in one spot. And then my next page is 2020 goals. A couple of my goals, I still have many more to add on here, but a couple of my goals are to graduate, you know, get back into sewing, learn how to tailor clothes better because that used to be such a hobby of mine and I would really like to jump back into it and get back on the machine. The other thing is I would love to be able to speak at a panel. I would love to be able to like visit family and call more often. I think for me it's like really important to keep those relationships going. For my spread for January, I kept it pretty simple and I just had the days and the dates and just had one solid color highlighting through each day just because I want to leave room for doodles and stuff throughout the week. Last year I just remember like having too much going on in my bullet journal and it like did not motivate me to get stuff done. Setting intentions for yourself for the year is really important too, and with that comes with a lot of journaling. So the journal that I decided to pick up for myself is from Muji. It's like a little journal. It has really nice pages in it. Journaling is a great way to constantly reflect on your feelings because I have lied to myself a lot about the things that I am feeling. Hard for me to like articulate it to other people, but when I write it down, it helps me kind of articulate my thoughts better. Even in like class and stuff, when I would get afraid to speak up, I would just write whatever I was thinking down. say it to myself like 3 times, and then I would raise my hand and then speak up in class. And that made me feel a lot more confident in the way that I was speaking or communicating with other people, because I get like super shy and super anxious speaking in front of people. And the last couple of extras I wanted to share with you are book recommendations. There are 2 books that I'm currently reading or have finished, and then there's a book that I'm going to read. That is also a goal of mine for this year. I want to find more books to read, especially with personal development and self-help. Maybe like other random things too. I'd love to read about food and where food comes from, but that's beyond. First book I wanted to recommend to you guys is called Tiny Beautiful Things. It's Advice on Love and Life from Dear Sugar by Cheryl Strayed. This was gifted to me by a really dope classmate, and I just had to go out and buy my own copy. So Cheryl used to be like an advice columnist, and they would call her Sugar. There are essays and passages from people from all different walks of life, and she gives them advice. And the way she writes is just so sophisticated and articulate and easy to understand. And you can tell that it's really written from the heart. And I don't know, I like cried a few times like reading through it. Can't wait to reread it again because there are just so many little lessons in here, especially if you're going through a breakup or something and you're feeling a little lost in life, or you feel like, you know, things are just not going your way. This is a great little pick-me-up. Next book I have for y'all is the one that I'm currently reading right now, and it's called Vibrate Higher Daily, Live Your Power by Lalah, Delia. This book is literally all of my aesthetic and personality in one book, truly. It's such a beautiful book. There's so much color. The font is super cute. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. Here is the author. She's so gorgeous. It's a book about really understanding your vibrational energy and how to increase that. Really empowering to read about energies and how to kind of get out of that toxic energy mindset. And then my last book recommendation is one that I have not read yet, but I've heard really great things about because my roommate is currently reading it. But it's How to Talk to Kids So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk by Adele Faber and Elaine Maslish. This is the kind of book that can just give you more insight about how to talk to people. This is something that I'm looking to read, but it's also just a thing for teachers or incoming teachers, I think. So I'll let you know how this goes, but I'm super excited to read it. Hopefully this kind of gave you some insight on, you know, ways to think about planning for your new year and really achieving your goals. I don't want you to feel afraid of it. I know it seems like it's a lot of pressure on you to think about like, oh my God, like what am I going to do with my life, you know? Don't worry. Girl, like I am in the same spot. 90% of the people around us also don't know what they're doing. So don't feel bad. This is kind of like a pep talk to future me when we come back. I'm super juiced for this new year. I hope that this new year brings you good health, great abundance, prosperity, good relationships, good healthy relationships to your loved ones and to yourself. If you enjoy videos like this where we're just chilling and talking about life and stuff, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for subscribing, and let me know what other videos you want to see in 2020. 2020, playing no games. Thank you so much for your wonderful support, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!